Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Hello dear students, I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to another video from your channel Easy Chemistry for All. This is Mr. Muad and we will start a new video inshallah. Before we do that, please put a like, share and subscribe the video and the channel so that hopefully many more students can benefit bi'idhnillah from these videos. Thank you. So we are starting in our module 18 and the chapter title is Redox Reactions and lesson 1 is Oxidation and Reduction هي تفاعلات الأكسدة والاختزال. The learning outcomes for this lesson is to describe the process of oxidation and reduction. نشرح شو معنى الأكسيديشن الأكسدة والريدكشن الاختزال. Identify oxidizing and reducing agents يعني المواد اللي تسبب الأكسدة والعوامل التي تسبب الاختزال. Determine the oxidation number of an element in a compound and interpret redox reactions in terms of change in oxidation state يعني oxidation number. Don't worry, we are going to see these learning outcomes in details بإذن الله. So the first part of the lesson is going to focus on defining oxidation and reduction reactions, explain the use of oxidation number in redox reactions, and differentiate أو نفرق ما بين oxidizing and reducing agents. First section, okay? So these are the building questions. So you need to, after this lesson, you need to know what are oxidation and reduction in chemistry. So oxidation is الأكسدة باللغة العربية, reduction is الاختزال. Okay? How can oxidizing and reducing agents, so what does that mean? It means we have عامل أكسدة, oxidizing agent, so agent is عامل, okay? And we have a reducing agent, and we'll learn the difference between both. These are just some terminologies which will be clarified during the session, okay? And then how oxidation number, or how is the oxidation number of an element in a compound be determined? How can we know the oxidation number, okay, of an element in a compound? These are the keywords which will be seen throughout the presentation. So, as you remember from the class, we said an oxidation reduction reaction, or we can simplify this long terminology into redox reaction. So ox from oxidation, read from reduction, involves the transfer of electrons from one atom to another. Okay, from one atom to another. So redox reactions mean there is a transfer of electrons between atoms in the reactants. So for example, here you have 2Mg plus O2 gives us 2MgO. Okay, so what happens here is that Mg will lose 2 electrons, okay, and it will give it to the oxygen. The oxygen will get the electrons, and then it will create an ionic compound from Mg plus 2 and O minus 2. So Mg plus 2 because lost 2 electrons, O minus 2 because gained 2 electrons, okay? Continue. This is another example showing a redox reaction where you have 2Br minus plus Cl2 gives us Br2 and 2Cl minus. So look at the charge of Br here, it's negative, right? Now the charge here is 0, so it means it lost an electron, okay? And Cl2 here, the charge was 0, and here it's Cl minus, so it gained an electron. So two atoms of Br, so this is Br and this is Br, see? Each one will lose an electron. This is the symbol of an electron. And each atom of Cl is going to gain an electron. And now Brs are going to combine into Br2, okay? And now you have 2Cl. But look at the charges, they changed because there was a transfer of electrons. الإلكترونات راحت من ذرة إلى ذرة ثانية. فهذا هو تعريف الريدوكس reactions. Now, what is oxidation and reduction? Of course, you know the answer here. It's going to be A. You already said that in the class very quickly, if you remember. So, what is the definition of oxidation and reduction? Now, oxidation is defined as the loss of electrons from an atom. So the atom that loses electrons, الذرة اللي تفقد إلكترونات، نقول إنه العملية اللي صارت ليها is oxidation. The process that happened to it is oxidation. Okay, for example, Na was alone, right? So the charge here is 0 because the charge of any normal atom is 0. Okay, now after the reaction it became Na plus, and I have something outside here. So E minus, this is electron. So Na loses an electron because the electron is in the products. It's like an exothermic process. Remember, exothermic, lose energy. So this one, we call it oxidation. Okay, so it will lose an electron. Why did I put one electron? Because the charge was 0 and here it's +1. So when you lose one electron, it's like adding +1 to 0, and 0 plus 1 is +1. Okay, another example, Ca becomes Ca positive 2. Here the charge was 0, here positive 2. It means it lost 2 electrons. Okay, now as you can deduce, reduction is the opposite. Reduction means the gain of electrons. Okay, it means gaining of electrons by an atom. An example for that is Cl2. See, the electrons here are in the reactant side في المتفاعلات، معناها هي بتكتسبهم. Okay, مش في البرودكتس يعني طلعوا منها. So Cl2 gains 2 electrons. Here is minus. So the charge here is 0, but here minus. But based on what we saw here, the charge should be -2 because there are 2 electrons, right? But the thing here is that we have 2 Cl. So you have Cl and Cl. Each one will get 1 electron. Okay, that's why. And then at the end I will have 1 Cl minus and 1 Cl minus, and I can write it as 2 Cl minus. But here I have only 1 Ca. Do you see the difference? Because here I have 2 atoms, each one will get 1 electron. And for example, F2 plus 2Fe gives us 2F minus. So this is a reduction equation. Okay, and this is an oxidation equation. We will see that in lesson 2. Okay, this is also reduction equation. Why is it a reduction equation? Because we show electrons. And you remember this, loss of electrons is oxidation, Leo, and gain of electrons is reduction, Ger. Okay, so loss of electrons is oxidation, as you already know, and gain of electrons is reduction. Okay, we already saw this in the classroom, and we stopped here. So now let's continue. Okay, if I show you a reaction like this, 2K plus Cl2 gives me 2KCl. Okay, this is a normal equation for making an ionic compound. So potassium and chlorine gas, if we combine them, they will give us a compound, an ionic compound. Look at the charge of K here, 0, and Cl2, 0, and look at the charge of them in the ionic compound, because ionic compound is made of positive and negative ion. So do you think there is a movement of electrons? And if yes, which atom was oxidized, K or Cl? You are right. The atom that was oxidized is K. Why? Because K became K plus, as you can see here. So this plus should be up there. Okay, so K became K plus. So this is oxidation. Why? Because the charge was 0 and it became +1. So lose of electrons. Cl became minus and it was 0. So here it's reduction, gain of electrons. So this is how we can look at equations from the perspective of lose or gain electrons, losing or gaining electrons. يعني أي تفاعل نقدر نشوفه كأنه فقدان أو اكتساب إلكترونات. الذرة اللي تفقد إلكترونات تتغير شحنتها تكون oxidized. الذرة اللي تكتسب إلكترونات وتتغير شحنتها أو تقل معناها reduction. So how can we track oxidation and reduction? How can we track the movement of electrons? كيف نقدر نتتبع حركة الإلكترونات in a redox reaction? We use something called the oxidation number. Okay. Now we are going to talk only about ionic compounds, meaning you have a positive and a negative ion in the compound. Okay. So this is the definition of the oxidation number in an ionic compound. It is the number of electrons lost or gained by an atom when it forms an ion. الأكسيديشن نمبر أو عدد الأكسدة هو عدد الإلكترونات التي تفقد أو تكتسب عندما يتكون الأيون. Alright, this is what I said just now. So, in chemistry, the oxidation number, we write the sign on the left and the ionic charge is on the right. Okay, this is the difference. But in ionic compounds, the ionic charge and oxidation numbers are the same. So in ionic compounds, what does an oxidation number of +3 means? It means you lost 3 electrons. Oxidation number -2, it means you gained 2 electrons. Okay? So this is the rule. When an atom or ion is reduced, the value of the oxidation number decreases. So if in the reactants the oxidation number was -2 and it became -3, in math it is reduced, right? So this is reduction from 2 to 1, reduction. But when it's oxidized, the oxidation number increases. So إذا الذرة في الرياكتنتس المتفاعلات كانت -4 شحنتها أو the oxidation number is -4 and it became -2, then it's oxidized. If it was 0, it became 3, it's oxidized because there is an increase in the oxidation number. Now don't worry, you are going to learn more and more about oxidation numbers and the rules behind them, okay? And of course, you know that the answer here is oxidation number, okay? We just saw this. Alright. Again, coming to some terminologies. الحين كل اللي نسويه يا طلاب وطالبات هو Okay, let's continue. So, as I was saying, we are just learning some terminologies. نتعلم تعريفات اللي عندنا الحين is oxidizing agent. عامل الأكسدة. عامل الأكسدة, okay? The substance that oxidizes another substance by accepting its electron is called an oxidizing agent. What does that mean? Imagine you have X plus Y, okay? Gives us X minus plus Y positive, okay? So the X here, what happened to the X? Reduction, right? And the Y? Oxidation. And the oxidation number تغير from 0 to +1 increased for the X, for the Y from 0 to +1 increased, and from 0 to -1 decreased, right? So because X will accept electron from Y, and it will cause Y to be oxidized. يعني X راح تسبب أكسدة الY. ليش؟ لأن ال X اكتسبت إلكترونات من ال Y. So we call X here oxidizing agent. And the oxidizing agent is the substance that is reduced. يعني المادة اللي يحصلها reduction أو is reduced, we call it oxidizing agent. يعني عكس. Oxidizing agent means it is reduced. Okay? And this is a summary of everything, which we will see in the next slide, okay? Now, as you can guess, the substance that reduces another substance by losing its electrons is called the reducing agent. Again, if you have A plus B, and it will be A minus plus B plus, let's call it -1 plus 1. So here, oxidation, right? So B will lose electrons, okay? So because B loses electrons and it will give them to A because the electrons will go from B to A, that's why A will get electrons, see, -1, and B loses +1. Because of that, B is oxidized, right? And because it made A reduced, لأنها تسببت في اختزال A، إن هي تسببت في إن A صارت reduced, so we call it a reducing agent. So the reducing agent is the substance that is oxidized. يعني إذا ذرة حصل لها oxidation نسميها reducing agent. إذا ذرة حصل لها reduction نسميها reducing agent. Again, this is the definition, okay, which you can read in here. about oxidation, everything that's important in this section. In section 1, this is the very important stuff, this table, okay? So please read it, and it's the same thing that we talked about so far. In oxidation, reactant loses electrons, and it's a reducing agent, and the oxidation number increases. وفي مثال هنا ما بين X و Y. Reduction, the reactant gains electron. If it's reduced, it will be an oxidizing agent, and the oxidation number decreases. Okay. So which is the substance that it oxidizes another substance? If it oxidizes another substance and it accepts electrons, it means it is the oxidizing agent. Okay. Very good. لأن هي يحصلها reduction فهي oxidizing agent تتسبب في أكسدة مادة ثانية. And this is a summary, okay, which you can read on your own. It has everything that we have covered so far. All right. So now we will move on. Now, redox reactions are not limited to atoms of an element changing to ions. الحين كل اللي أخذناه الحين هو تفاعل يكون مركب أيوني. Now we will look at something else. Okay. Now some redox reactions involve change in molecular substance. Now covalent compounds or polyatomic ions. The polyatomic ions have covalent bonds between their atoms. So for example, N2 plus 3H2 gives us NH3. Now, no ionic compound here, no ions. So how can we know what happens? Who's oxidized? Who's reduced? Okay, so here's the rule. Now they say that N is reduced, يعني ال N هني وال H, which is this one, is oxidized. Now كيف نعرف واحنا ما نعرف شحناتهم لأن هاي مش مركب أيوني يعني ما في positive و negative. بس كيف نعرف؟ في طريقة ثانية لأن هذا مش مركب أيوني. To determine which was oxidized and which was reduced, you must know which atom is more electronegative. And I know this is your motto, or this is my motto in this during this year. Electronegativity is something you took in grade 10 advanced, okay, in term 1. I know you'd be laughing after hearing this, but it's fine. It's just to refresh. So using this rule, elements with high electronegativity are strong oxidizing agent. يعني اللي عنده electronegativity will be reduced. إذا عندك high electronegativity, you will be reduced. Okay, what's the rule? How can we know? You should remember this. Group number 1 and 2, okay, elements في periodic table, they are reducing agents, meaning they will be oxidized. And اللي بالأصفر اللي في group 16 and 17, they will be reduced. So that's why here look at N. So N is here actually. So N will be reduced, will H هذه will be oxidized. And exactly that's what they are saying. H will be oxidized, will N will be reduced. ولأنه electron negativity من اليسار لليمين increases, and from up to down increases as well. And remember the rule: higher electron negativity equals reduced. فمين اللي عنده electron negativity على ال H ولا ال N اللي هم في التفاعل هذا؟ ال N. فال N will be reduced. So this one is reduced. Just remember this. This is the most important thing. If you remember this, then you are all good. Okay? Now, identify oxidation reduction reactions. Let's have a look at this question. It's saying the following equation represents a redox reaction of aluminum and iron. Aluminum and iron في حضور الأكسجين. Identify which atom was oxidized, okay, and what is reduced in this reaction. يعني مين اللي reduced ومين اللي oxidized ومين ال oxidizing agent ومين ال reducing agent. So شوف على ال AL شو شحنتها كانت ال AL؟ 0. كم صارت شحنتها هني؟ positive 3. So you can write 2AL gives us 2AL plus 3. Okay, and there is no need to write 2 here. There is no need to write 2 here. You can just write AL and AL. ما في داعي. ال AL صارت positive 3 معناها فقدت كم إلكترون؟ 3 electrons لأن كانت شحنتها 0. So what happened to the oxidation number? Oxidation number increased. وفقدت إلكترونات. كيف عرفنا إن هي فقدت إلكترونات؟ لأنه شحنتها صارت موجبة، كانت 0 وصارت موجبة. فأكيد ال AL حصلها oxidation. صح ولا لا؟ Now look at Fe. Look at Fe here. ال Fe كانت plus 3 صح؟ وشو صارت هني في النواتج؟ 0. فالأكسيديشن نمبر أو الشحنة انخفضت. معناها إنه اكتسبت إلكترونات. That's why you put 3 here because it was plus 3 and plus 3 minus 3 تعطيك 0. So gain of electrons. So it's reduction. تذكروا إذا حصل oxidation معناها أنت reducing agent. So reducing agent هو ال AL. وإذا حصل reduction معناها أنت oxidizing agent. So AL is oxidized and it's reducing agent. Fe plus 3 إن هي في المتفاعلات is reduced, so it will be an oxidizing agent. هاي هي الطريقة فقط. نشوف الشحنات شو صار لها. إذا قلت الشحنة reduction، إذا زادت الشحنة oxidation. تمام؟ طبعا الأكسجين ممكن يجي عندكم سؤال ليش الأكسجين ما سوينا له شيء؟ لأنه شوف شحنة الأكسجين كانت -2 وتمت -2. It stayed -2. So nothing happened. There was no change in the charge. Now you have some questions here. Identify each of the following changes as either oxidation or reduction. طبعا this is very easy. If you look at A كان عندك I2 plus 2E. شوف أول ما تلاقي الإلكترونات موجودة في المتفاعلات معناها reduction. So A is reduction. وأيضا كانت الشحنة 0 وصارت -1. فأكيد reduction لأن الشحنة انخفضت أو الأكسيديشن نمبر انخفض. Also لما تلاقوا الإلكترونات موجودة في النواتج معناها oxidation. So B is oxidation. Also the charge was 0 here. K was neutral. And the charge became +1 في النواتج. So it's oxidation لأن الشحنة زادت. Same thing with C and D. Okay, oxidation and reduction. يعني تقدرون تعرفونها من الشحنات تتغير إذا زادت oxidation، إذا انخفضت reduction، أو من الإلكترونات لو كانت موجودة. Now let's look at A. 2Br minus plus Cl2 gives us Br2 plus 2Cl minus. Now هذا تفاعل يقول لك which atom is oxidized and which was reduced. اللي يقصد فيهم هاي يعني المتفاعلات، أي واحدة من هذيلا oxidized وأي واحدة منهم reduced. تعالوا نشوف. شحنة ال Br كانت -1 صح؟ كم شحنتها صارت؟ 0. يعني شحنتها زادت لأنه 0 أكبر من -1. So this is oxidation. ال Cl شو صار لها؟ كانت 0 شحنتها وصارت -1. إذا قلت من 0 ل -1 لأنه -1 أصغر من 0. So this is reduction. And that's it. So Br oxidation O و reduction R عشان نختصر. So Br is oxidized and Cl is reduced. Same thing here. You can just look at the charges. إذا ما لقيتوا شحنة على الذرة معناها شحنتها 0. So you can use that to know which one is oxidized and which one is reduced, okay? So O is oxidation, R is reduction. All right. Now identify the oxidizing agent and reducing agent in the following equation. Explain your answer. All right. So you have this. Again, you can break this into two things. So ال Fe شحنتها كانت صفر وصارت positive 2. So Fe here oxidized and it is reducing agent. Look at Ag, it was plus and it became 0. So Ag plus لأنه هاي ال Ag plus ناخذها كما هي من المتفاعلات is reduced لأنه شحنتها قلت and it is oxidizing agent. Okay, so hopefully this was very easy. You can stop the video, repeat it again, hear it again, no problem, but you have the slides and you have the video version, both of them to use. Okay, so it shouldn't be very difficult. There are also more resources for you, okay, in this link. You can check only pages 2, 3 and 4. That's it. Don't check all the pages, only 2, 3 and 4. إذا كان عندكم صعوبة في الفهم، إذا كانت أموركم طيبة خلاص. أوكي؟ الحين نيجي لسؤال معين. إذا عندي مركب for example NaCl، كيف أعرف الأكسيديشن نمبر of Na والأكسيديشن نمبر of Cl؟ كيف أعرف شو شحنتهم أو شو الأكسيديشن نمبر في هذا المركب؟ What are the rules? So there are some rules to determine oxidation number, because if we know the oxidation number, okay, for example this one will become Na plus Cl2, for example, okay. How can we know which one is reduced, which one is oxidized? We need to know the charges. There are no charges in this equation, no oxidation numbers. How can we know? So we have some rules which you have in your book, which you can find in this table. So rules for determining oxidation numbers. Okay, what are they? Rule number 1, the oxidation number. الأكسيديشن نمبر معناها عدد الإلكترونات المفقودة أو المكتسبة of an atom of an uncombined element is 0. شو معناها؟ معناها لما نشوف عنصر هيك بروحه لوحده مش موجود فيه مركب، الأكسيديشن نمبر حقه 0. So N here is the oxidation number. Okay. Now, rule number 2, the oxidation number of a monoatomic ion is equal to the charge of the ion. تذكرون لما كنا نشوف إنه الشحنة positive 2 في التفاعل أو negative 1، so the oxidation number is positive 2 and negative 1. هذا صحيح للمونواتوميك ايون، يعني الايونات المكونة من ذرة واحدة. هني ايون مكون من ذرة واحدة Ca، ذرة واحدة البي. وتذكرون لما كنت أحط صفر فوق الذرات اللي مش مرتبطة. So this is why, because this is the rule. Okay. Now, the oxidation number of the more electronegative atom in a molecule or a complex ion is the same as the charge it would have if it were an ion. What does that mean? For example, N in NH3 في هذا المركب، لأنه ال N عندها electronegativity أكبر من ال H، لو تتذكرون شفناها قبل شوي. فنروح نشوف وين ال N. ال N موجودة in group 15. This is N. Group 15 عندهم شحنة -3. That's why its oxidation number will be -3. Now, الأكسجين موجودة في جروب 16. الجروب 16 شحنتهم إذا كونوا أيونات is -2. Okay. So الأكسجين في هذا المركب the oxidation number for it is -2. Is that clear? And most of the times N will be -3 and most of the times O will be -2. Now rule number 4 is very easy. أول ما تشوفون F which is fluorine in group 17، إذا كانت موجودة في مركب فالoxidation number of F will always be -1. If I have, for example, NaF, oxidation number of F is going to be minus 1. لكن لو عندي F بروحها the oxidation number will be 0 اللي هو في rule number 1 لأنها بروحها. بس لو كانت في مركب بتكون minus 1. So these are the first 4 rules. You can stop the video, repeat it again to understand more. Now, rule number 5. The oxidation number of oxygen is always minus 2. يعني إذا شفنا الأكسجين موجود في أي مركب oxidation number على طول minus 2. هذه قاعدة. إلا في المركب H2O2. إذا شفنا المركب H2O2 الأكسيديشن نمبر حق الأكسجين بيكون minus 1. غير هذا المركب minus 2. أوكي؟ and لو كان في ذرة عندها electronegativity أعلى من الأكسجين then the oxidation number of oxygen will be positive. There's no need to worry about this rule. Just remember these two. Okay? Hydrogen. The oxidation number of hydrogen in most compounds is +1. يعني إذا عندي X for example HX معظم الأوقات oxidation number of hydrogen will be +1 إلا إذا الهيدروجين مرتبط مع عنصر موجود في جروب 1 أوكي أو جروب 2. طبعا الجدول دول يعطاكم في الامتحان مثال Na K CS Li كل هذه الأمثلة إذا الهيدروجين مرتبط معها شحنة الهيدروجين أو الأكسيديشن نمبر is -1. Now the oxidation number of group 1, 2 and 13 is the same as its charges. For example أنتم تعرفون أن group 1 شحنتها positive 1, group 2 شحنتها positive 2, group 13 شحنتها positive 3. ال K موجود في group 1 so the oxidation number is +1. Ca in group 2 oxidation number is +2. Al is in group 13 so the oxidation number is +3. Okay, it's the same as the valence electrons because group 1 has 1 valence electron, group 2 has 2 valence electrons, group 13 has 3 valence electrons. So when they lose these electrons, these are the charges or the oxidation numbers they will have. Again, stop the video, repeat it again whenever you need. Now, if you know rules from 1 to 7, rule number 8 and 9 are easy. Now this is the rule that will help us in defining. طبعا في عناصر ثانية غير اللي موجودة في rules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So how can we find them? We find them using rules 8 and 9. The sum of oxidation numbers in a neutral compound is 0. مثال أستاذ. Okay, come here. Imagine you have CaF2. Okay. From the previous rule, okay, from the previous rule, you know that F will always be -1, the oxidation number. Ca is X, we don't know it. Okay. So الرول يقول لك إنه الأكسيديشن number of Ca plus أول شيء كم F عندي هنا؟ عندي 2 صح؟ plus 2 ضرب الأكسيديشن number of F is going to be 0. ليش؟ لأن هذا المركب ما فيه شحنة is neutral. Alright? So let's call this one X plus 2 ضرب شو الأكسيديشن number of F -1 equals 0. So X equals +2. So the oxidation number of Ca is +2. من هنا نقدر نعرف الأكسيديشن numbers من هالقاعدة إنه لازم نسويها بصفر إذا ما في شحنة على المركب. If you have a polyatomic ion like NO3 -1, SO4 -2, SO3 -2, it will not be equal to 0, it will be equal to the charge that you have here. So it's equal to -2 because there is a charge up here. Here there is no charge. Okay, so you can repeat the rules again. Now let's go and see one example. So use the rules for determining oxidation numbers to find the oxidation number of each element in potassium chlorate. So you have K, Cl, and O, and in the sulfite S and لازم نعرف the oxidation number of every. Okay, so what do we know? We know the following. تتذكروا لما قلت لكم من الأكسجين in one of the rules in the table, if you go back, oxygen is always -2 إلا في المركب H2O2 the oxidation number is -1 الباقي -2. So here is -2. Okay, remember that group 1 the oxidation number will be +1 and K is in group 1 so the oxidation number will be +1. Now Cl we don't know. طبعا ال O here is also -2. Okay, so oxygen here is -2, sorry. Okay, yeah, oxidation number is -2, yeah. Okay, so this is what we know. We know the compound, we know the oxidation number of O. هاي oxygen مش 0 وهاي ال K اللي هي ال K. So what we don't know is NaCl and the oxidation number of Cl. طبعا ال N اللي هو ال oxidation number, okay, and the oxidation number of S. So let's go to this compound. Let's use the following. So احنا نعرف القانون، في شحنة فوق ما في شحنة. So مجموع الأكسيديشن نمبرز so NK plus NCl plus كم O عندنا هني؟ 3 NO will equal 0. ال NK is positive 1. ال NCl ما نعرفها. ال NO نعرفها -2 ضرب 3. So this one here will be 3 ضرب -2 يعني -6, right? So -6 equals 0. من هني NCl إذا حلينا المعادلة راح تساوي plus 5. Easy. Now let's go to SO3 -2. Again نفس الشيء. كم S عندنا؟ S واحدة so NS plus كم O عندنا؟ 3O يساوي مش 0 الحين، لا الشحنة اللي فوق. هني الشحنة ما في so it's 0. هني في شحنة it's -2. so NS وطبعا 3 ضرب -2 لأنه هاي 3 ضرب -2 لأنه ال NO is -2. 3 ضرب -2 يعني -6 صح؟ 6 equals -2. So NS will be +4. Okay, and that's it. You use the rules. شو الرولز اللي احنا أصلا عارفينهم؟ نعرف إن الأكسجين الأكسيديشن نمبر حقه -2 إلا في هذا المركب. فطبقناها. نعرف إنه الكي موجودة في جروب 1. طبعا الجدول الدوري بيكون عندكم بس انتم تتذكروها +1. الأكسجين هني كمان -2 عندنا. ونطبق قانون رقم 8. This is rule 8 and rule 9 and that's it. And then you solve the equation. كل الأمثلة كل الأسئلة عبارة عن هيك. Okay, this is the solution from the book. So NCl 5 NS is +1. So let me solve an example with you and then you can do the rest on your own and you have the solutions. So let's do something like this. Let's do A. So determine the oxidation number of the boldface and you need the oxidation number of N. Okay, so احنا نعرف من القانون انه ال H دائما تكون positive 1 عفوا yes positive 1 تمام، إلا لما تكون مع عناصر من جروب 1 and 2. ال N في الجدول الدوري جروب 15 فأكيد ال NH الحين بتكون +1. The N of N we don't know. So كم N عندنا؟ واحدة. So N plus كم H عندنا؟ How many H's? We have 4 H's, right? So 4 NH equals 0? No, equals +1. طبعا ما في الواحد ما ينكتب في الكيمياء فالبلس هاي معناها +1 equals +1. ال N +1 so N okay plus 4 times +1 equals +1 so N will equal -4. And that's it, you can use it. For example here, oxidation number of O minus 2 Na plus 1 ال O minus 2 ال Al plus 3. هذول كلهم من القوانين، من التيبل، من الجدول اللي كنا شفناهم. Okay. Okay, everything is moving on. ال O here minus 2 ال H plus 1 من الجدول بعد. ال O here minus 2 ال O here minus 2. تقدر تطلع الباقي. Okay. So you can have a look here and you can solve the rest on your own. You have the solutions of the book on LMS. طبعا عندكم حلول الكتاب موجودة في LMS. Okay. You can go to LMS. عندكم هني book solutions for term 2. You can click on it and you can just view it. Okay. حق الفصل الثاني كله. Now summary. Oxidation and reduction reactions feature changes in oxidation number. في تغيرات في الأوكسيديشن number. Okay, for example here الحين بعد ما تعلمنا كيف نطلع الأوكسيديشن number from K and BR, you know K is plus 1 so BR will be minus 1 لأنه plus 1 minus 1 يساوي 0. Cl here alone oxidation number is 0. K شوف شو حصل لل K. So K here was plus 1. Okay. وال K here was plus 1 so nothing happened to it. بس ال BR كانت minus 1 وصارت 0 so oxidation. Cl كانت 0 وصارت plus 1. عفوا صارت minus 1 so it's reduction. So you can read the following and that's the end of the section 1. I hope this was easy. So again, have a look at the PowerPoint, have a look at the recording and the video. طبعا ال PowerPoint already موجود فيه recording so yeah, all the best.